Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. No Corey Tackman today, but we got our guy Zeke hopping on, ready to roll. And Zeke, we have, before we get into too much today, we have playoffs to talk about.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Let's first start off with your game that you had yesterday with Staples-Motley and Wadena-Deer Creek. Final home game of the season for the Cardinals. Tell us the atmosphere. Tell us the game. What's kind of the things we just need to know?
Yeah, weather definitely played a factor into some of those passes last night. That wind was rough. I mean, I was sitting up in the press box. I got there before Tyler did. I just want everyone to know that usually I'm a show up 10 minutes before pregame kind of guy.
Is your shirt on?
Well, with my shirt on, my great aunt actually bought me a new denim jacket so that I would have a jacket to wear. So I wore my great aunt's gift.
I saw the
all
picture.
night.
It was very snazzy.
All night. It's a great jacket, and I'll probably wear it the rest of the season because I think we're gonna be in the 60s for weather on Saturday, or could touch 60, so it won't be as bad. But yeah, so wind was howling last night. The press box was rattling back and forth, but I mean the Cardinals they showed up last night. The Cardinals fans showed up. It was Wadena-Deer Creek. I mean, we mentioned this in the pregame. A couple of years ago, when Staples was 0-8, it was Wadena-Deer Creek who beat their brakes off in the playoffs, and that was that group of seniors. I think they were freshmen or sophomores, and now kind of full circle moment where WDC is kind of rebuilding and they've had their struggles this year, and Staples, the defending section champion, gets to return the favor to Wadena-Deer Creek, and so that was fun for a lot of seniors last night. And man, special teams came out to play. I mean, right from the get-go, Caden Nyson returning the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Cardinals hit the 2-point conversion. It was 8-0, 13 seconds into the game. Wolverines go 3 and out. They punt to Colby Tappy, which is always a bad idea. He returns that punt for another touchdown. Cardinals hit the 2-point conversion. It's 16-0, and the offense hadn't even touched the ball yet.
Wow.
I think Colby Tappy had 1 carry last night, 51-yard touchdown. I mean, Cardinals were firing on all cylinders last night, and now one of the most highly anticipated matchups in the playoffs coming up, number 2 ranked Holdingford versus number 7 ranked Staples-Motley in the section semifinals on Saturday.
Yeah, a huge game for Staples-Motley. They take care of business in the 2-7 matchup, and the 3-6 matchup, excuse me, and they advance, and they get to have that matchup with Holdingford. Want to take a second first to congratulate the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines on a great season. They end up finishing the campaign 2-7, but it kind of goes a little bit beyond that as well, just considering where they were a season ago, having to forfeit their season early. They didn't get a chance to play that final game of the season or even a playoff game. And there's always just kind of a bit of like, it definitely stuck with you all off season long. And I know talking to Wadena-Deer Creek head football coach Kyle Petermeyer before the season started, he was like, we really want to wash that away. We want a chance to kind of get back out there and play again. And we were itching to do that in the early season, in the late summer, as they were getting practice ready. They start off the year with an 8-0 win over Long Prairie Great Eagle to get their first win on the board. And that just was so huge for that program, just to come right out of the gate, get a victory and just get the good vibes rolling. They would get another victory against Monaga later in the season. And, obviously it's not a banner season that's going to be remembered in the record books, but it was a huge season for the program coming off of a year where you had a little bit low numbers and you had some injuries and you couldn't quite finish it out. And then now you come back stronger, looking to try and just kind of reestablish yourself. And they did that, and they were able to do that. And they have some seniors that I know that they'll miss, but they have a lot of younger underclassmen on that roster, a lot of sophomores and juniors that they are excited about, and a few freshmen that they believe in the next couple of years will start to make an impact. So Wadena-Deer Creek football ends the season, but they certainly feel like they have some good players coming up on the horizon that they can build on for the next couple of years. So shout out to Coach Petermeyer, shout out to the Wadena-Deer Creek football squad on their season, and Now they move on to basketball and hockey and wrestling and Nordic skiing and all that kind of stuff that goes on in the winter sports season. But yeah, for Staples-Motley, Zeke, they get the rematch with Holdingford, and we talk about their game with Pillager being one of the biggest in the state. This will also be one of the biggest. In fact, Section 6 AA football, both of those games are going to be two of the most highly anticipated games in the entire state. Pillager got the first round bye. They play Osakis, who beat Royalton, and then, of course, Holdingford beat Monaga yesterday to set up those matchups. And there's a lot of storylines galore. Staples-Motley trying to get back to the section championship game. Holdingford new to the section this year, trying to kind of hold their own there. And Pillager on the other end, trying to get to that section final game. The last 2 years, they've gotten upset on their home field in that second round game. 2 years ago, it was against Staples-Motley. Last year, it was against Osakis, and now the Silver Streaks and the Huskies meet again. That should be a fun one. So should the one with Staples-Motley and Holdingford. What about those games stick out to you, Zeke?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of storylines, like you mentioned, going to Staples-Motley and Holdingford. I mean, we talked about the Pillager matchup and how, Pillager had that game circled on their calendar. They wanted Staples-Motley. They wanted to beat Staples-Motley. Well, the same thing goes for the Holdingford Huskers. You go back to last February, a rivalry between these two wrestling programs. I mean, 1 and 2 top-ranked teams in the same section. Only one can go to state. Staples-Motley comes into their building for the section championship and beats the Huskers on that. It was Stephen Petrich with the heavyweight, and they knocked off Holdingford. Then Staples went on to win the state championship, where you can argue whoever wins that section final won the state championship. I think Holdingford ended the season number 3 ranked in the state, and they didn't even make the state tournament.
Right.
And so a lot of exactly. Yeah. A lot of Husker fans and a lot of Huskers players remember that. And now they kind of want to return the favor. Staples-Motley in a position to go to their 3rd consecutive section championship game at the Fargo Dome, lost to Osakis. Then last year beat Osakis to get back to state. And now Holdingford in a position to kind of return the favor to Staples-Motley in a way.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be down in Holdingford. You and Tyler are going to have to, you guys are going to make the drive. The good news is there is no good road to get to Holdingford. You got to get to Royalton and kind of work your way out from there. But a really nice football complex. They're a great program. And that'll be 2 programs that have really had some nice runs in the last few years. So it'll be fascinating. And we'll talk with Tyler on Friday to get just kind of a tail of the tape of the matchups, and he'll try and track down Coach Potter for an interview and things like that. So it'll be fascinating to get to talk about that as it gets closer. I'm going to recap my football game here quick, Zeke, between Parkers Prairie and Nevis. Parkers Prairie was the 2 seed in Section 6A, and in almost any other section, Zeke, they'd be the number 1 seed, but because Breckenridge is the number 1 overall team in the state, according to QRF, they had to be the 2 seed, which is fine because you still get home field advantage throughout up until the neutral site games. So Parkers Prairie took care of business. They got a 51-16 win over Nevis yesterday. Nevis came into the game at 3-5, their first year in 11-man in Class A, and their first ever playoff game in 11-man. And Parkers Prairie just a little quicker. Their defense was able to get to some spots. The thing about Parkers Prairie is they have some great skill position players, and I'm going to talk about the Ruckheim boys in a minute because they wrecked havoc. Wreaked havoc, wrecked havoc. That's all you need to know. But the Parkers Prairie offensive line has some big dudes. There's Zach Cap. You have a few other guys in there that they know how to move. And I remember doing a kind of the preseason season previews for Parkers Prairie, and I talked with 2 linemen, for one of which was Cap, and then mentioning about the season and getting ready to go, and kind of is there a position that you like to cover? Any position that you decide, hey, like this is my one to go to. This is the thing I want to do, and it was just fascinating getting to talk about it because they both, instead of saying defense, were like, no, we like offense. We like to block. We like to get moving and do our stuff. And then one of them looked at me and said, well, I like defense too. And then afterwards I talked with Coach Johnson, and he was like, so they tell you how much they liked offense? I was like, actually, no, one said defense. And he looked at me like, like what's going on? Because they can move some people on that Parkers Prairie offensive line, and they get the ball moving. They get the things going, and it definitely helps for them. So let's just go over some quick post-game stats, because boy, oh boy, to Parkers Prairie. They didn't pass the ball once, Zeke, in the football game. And why would you? Because the wind was whipping yesterday in Parkers. Nevis had to punt into the wind a couple times, and it's like
Didn't go well.
It is like a cold knife through a frozen stick of butter.
Oh, man.
A dull knife through a frozen stick of butter is exactly what it was like trying to punt in there and trying to throw into that wind as well. The freshman quarterback for Nevis tried to throw into the flat. Nothing like super crazy of a throw. And the spiral just wasn't as tight as he wanted it to be. And that thing just like a duck at the, like, you can see some of those smaller birds try and fly into the wind gusts, and you could see them struggling, and you're like, oh no, bird, just quit for a second. And that was exactly kind of what it was. It was like, oh man, the wind is tough. Now, when it was at your back, you could throw, and they were able to complete some throws, and Nevis in the second half was able to make a few. But yeah, for Parkers Prairie, they ran wild in this game. Let's start off with the offense being led by the Ruckheim boys. All over the field against Nevis. Zach Ruckheim finished with 88 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That included the first score of the game, which was a 1-yard burst into the end zone, made it 8-0. Isaac Ruckheim rattled off 142 rushing yards on the ground with a pair of touchdowns. The latter was a 65-yard burst late in the second quarter that really kind of just put the exclamation point on it. Xavier Richardson had the last score of the first half with a 7-yard score, but he set it up with about a 60-some yard run to get them right on the doorstep of the goal line before halftime. He finished with 88 yards on 4 carries, so that'll play when you average 22 yards a rush. And Trevor Rounds got 1 rushing touchdown, 22 yards on the day, but he also got his second interception of the season. And I believe Parkers Prairie was up 30-0 in the second quarter, but they fumbled the football, and that was the first time that they didn't score on a possession, and Nevis had the ball in their best field position yet. It was like, okay, let's see what Nevis can do. Can they get something on the board here and show a little life? And Parkers Prairie just quashed it. They were like, nope, we're taking that right back. The very next play, Rounds gets an interception, runs it back, 50 yards to set them up inside the 25, and Parkers Prairie was able to pound it in later as well. So a really good night of rushing for Parkers Prairie. Their defense came up, obviously, with the interception. They get a fumble recovery as well a little bit later in the game. The Tiger defense did force a pair of fumbles as well, but Parkers Prairie gets the win 51-16. They will advance to play 8-1 Walker Hackensack Akeley, who got a 1-score win against Lake Park Audubon. It's a 2:00 kickoff on Saturday from Parkers Prairie, and the winner will go to the Fargo Dome on Halloween Friday. We'll have coverage of that game on the Superstation K-106. Keep following Sports Cow for more updates for our broadcast schedule. Zeke, can I get a moo?
Moo.
But we'll have coverage of both Staples-Motley. We'll have coverage of Parkers Prairie and more coming up on Saturday in that coverage. But Zeke, we got to talk playoff volleyball. And remember, we are doing a live jersey unboxing coming up a little bit later in the show. Got this bad boy all ready to roll. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. First, though, let's talk some playoffs as the Pequot Lakes Patriots are going to host the Staples-Motley Cardinals in their playoff matchup. That's a 6:45 pregame, 7:00 first serve on 98.5 FM and AM1430 KNSP. The Fan. Corey Tackman will have the coverage. In fact, he can't be on the show today. He's so busy game prepping for volleyball playoffs and all the things that come with that, because volleyball playoffs are a lot of fun, just like the football playoffs are. A lot of running around, although I appreciate that all the days are like, for the sections, are universal, meaning there's no random section that'll play on like a Thursday or a Saturday or something like that for volleyball. That messes up football, because there were times, Zeke, where it was like games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, games on Saturday. You get a day off on Monday of games, and then you get to come back on Tuesday and do another game. They were fun, but it was just by the end of the week, you're like, what day is it? What planet am I on? I got a game tonight. That's all that matters. But Staples-Motley going to Pequot Lakes, and the interesting wrinkle will be Pequot Lakes and Staples-Motley also met in Pequot at the end of the softball season. And Pequot Lakes was able to come out with the victory there. So Cardinals trying to get some revenge. Pequot Lakes, obviously the 2023 state champions in Class AA. So that is a program that is not to be messed with either. Should be a good night at the Pequot Lakes gym. Corey Tackman with the coverage on the Fan. Zeke, how we feeling in Cardinal Nation?
Good. I mean, I attended the last Staples-Motley home meet of the season, home matches. It was against Pelican Rapids, and they swept them out of the nest. So they've got some momentum going in the playoffs. We'll see what they can do here.
Yeah, exactly. Moving over into Section 8 AA playoff volleyball, Wadena-Deer Creek is going to host Park Rapids Area in Highway 71 Rivalry Part 2 Electric Boogaloo tonight as the Panthers and the Wolverines square off. These two teams met in Park Rapids back in September 9th. It was a 3-set victory for Wadena-Deer Creek and a match overall where the Wolverines just were a little more together right at the beginning of the season. So it'll be fascinating to see how Park Rapids area has developed over the course of the year. And I will say too, Wadena-Deer Creek has really gotten going in the sense of they were a more talented team at the beginning of the year. And now it feels like they're kind of gelling. They're figuring out the form. They've gotten the rotations where they want it to be. And by the time that, that time came for that game early in the season, Wolverine setter Ashley Pavick was only in like her 4th or 5th game setting for the Wolverine varsity squad on the season, because Addie Gravel had been there for years and years and years. And now I was talking with Coach Courtney Thunberg of Wadena-Deer Creek, and, what's kind of been the thing that gels. And she said, well, just kind of having more reps with the setter, and everybody kind of knows what to expect, and everybody gets on the same page communication wise, who's kind of running the table for the offense. If you're the one who's setting everybody up, you gotta be on the same page with people. There's communication stuff. And that was going to come with reps. Not that it was bad at the beginning of the year, but just, you're not going to get into full form until you get those reps and you get moving and you get going. And the Wadena-Deer Creek offense really has, as you can tell by Peyton Gravel in her last full regular season matches, not counting the Moorhead tournament. She had 71 kills over a 4-game stretch. That'll play. Yep. So she's an all-state hitter for a reason. She's gotten fully into form, and even just the way that they set up the offense, the way that Gravel gets into her slides and things like that, is just things that you didn't quite see out of them at the beginning of the year because they were getting comfortable. And now it feels like the comfort level's there. But you also have Kennedy Ness, you have Jada Dykoff, Celia Renio, and other hitters for the Wolverines that get that balanced attack. The Wolverine service line has always been really good. So a lot of stuff to look at there as well. For Park Rapids area, coming into this match, they have a record of 6-21. They are the 11th seed in Section 6A. They are 2-8 and 8 AA, excuse me, in Section 8 AA. They're 2-8. They are 1-7 in the Heart of Lakes Conference. They were 1-7 at home, 1-6 on the road, 4-8 in neutral site games. They have a QRF of 57.8. For Wadena-Deer Creek, they have a QRF of 107.1. That's 41st in all of Class A. They have an overall record of 16-11, 4-3 in Section 8 AA, gets them the 6th seed, 7-0 in the Park Region Conference, where they are 4-time PRC champions now, 4-1 at home, 7-2 on the road, 5-8 in neutral site games. On the Superstation K-106 is where the game will be, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first serve on the Superstation K-106, Superstation K-106 mobile app, and WadenaRadio.com. Winner of this game will play the winner of Roseau and Red Lake at the high seed on Friday night at 7 o'clock. All right, Zeke, we're going to unbox this jersey. We're getting ready to do that. But before we do that and unbox this jersey, we got to talk about the good folks that gave us this jersey to give away. And that's over at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. And Zeke, a lot of things you can do when you go to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. You can enjoy the country's best chicken. You can enjoy the pizza, the mashed potatoes. You can have the potato wedges. And by the way, if you go there tomorrow, it's wing night, as we've been big advocates for on this program, the hot honey barbecue wings. It's 10 out of 10.
I still haven't had those yet. Still haven't had them yet. I need to go.
You need to go. That's the motivation. And if you're listening and you haven't gone yet, what are you waiting for? Go do it. Go get there on Thursday for wing night at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. The other thing, what happens though, if you go today on a Wednesday, throughout the rest of the year, it is double point Wednesdays at the FunZone Arcade in Wadena. You can enjoy double points on all the games you want. That means double the prizes. And if you get enough points, that means you can redeem them for prizes that include candy, prizes that include packs of cards, anything in between. And also, if you get enough points, you can get a mystery autographed jersey like this one that we are going to give away in just a second. We so appreciate Pizza Ranch for giving us this jersey to give away. We appreciate Pizza Ranch for being sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk. And we also appreciate the fact that they have great pizza, great buffet, and an awesome place to go play at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Go check them out.
While you were doing that, I ordered hot honey wings on the app. so I'm going to go pick them up for lunch today.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna do it. I'm gonna take the plunge, and that's it. That's how easy it was.
All right, please
Boom.
do a
Sauce,
taste test Tuesday
hot
on
honey
Wednesday.
sauce. Yes,
Record yourself taking it and put it on the cow. Tag Pizza Ranch. Like
we'll do.
Let's is an on-air production meeting. Do it. Let's show them how great those wings are.
Deal. I'm in.
When so the wings are on the buffet on Thursday nights. You can order them anytime on the app.
Sure did. Wow. I just did it.
That's what you call service.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick them up at noon.
Perfect.
There we go.
They're all set. And then give me some. I'll drive over there.
Yeah.
All right. They'll be gone by the time I would get there. They're that good.
100%. They'll be gone. They'll be gone before I get home.
All right, Zeke. NBA season starts today. As the prophet known as Anthony Edwards said, Wolves back. We the ones, Jack. Here we go.
I hope so.
Here we go. The Wolves start tonight. It's of course a late tip-off, 9:00.
Why not? Let's start the Wolves in Portland. Two-time defending Western Conference runner-up. Let's start them on the West Coast. That's
against the Trailblazers in a game nobody cares about. To be fair, last year they gave them the Lakers and they lost. So
that's true. Hey, Lakers lost last night.
They did. They
41 from Luka and couldn't come through.
Let's be honest, they're not a good team.
They didn't do anything this offseason. I was listening to Houston and Oklahoma City on my way home. I picked up some station on the AM somewhere, and I got to listen to the end of regulation when Shea went nuts, and then the end of the first overtime, double overtime last night in the season opener. There'll be some good games between Houston adding Kevin Durant and the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, that was a great way to start the season last night.
There is one thing
if you're an OKC Thunder fan,
which, there's something we got to talk about with some of those games that we'll mention in a second, but I do want to get to the jersey unboxing here. So Wolves win tonight, even though Portland has been a house of horrors for the Wolves, even when the Trailblazers have been bad, they just can't seem to win.
Their defense is solid. Portland's defense is solid.
Questionable with back spasms tonight, so that's awesome.
Why not?
Why not? I guess, whatever. If they lose at the beginning in October, who cares? But it's one. If your team loses a game in October and you get up and your season is over, call the number. I don't care what number. Call a number.
Non-division game. Yeah.
Right. Figure it out. All right. Let's give some guesses here. It's an NBA jersey. Who we thinking? What's kind of the things that roll off the tongue? Do we think it's going to be like baseball where we get like a David Justice jersey, where we get a Mookie Wilson jersey? What are we thinking here, Zeke? What are we thinking?
I'm feeling Atlanta Hawks for some reason is the first franchise that pops in my head.
All right, who with the Atlanta? Atlanta?
I'm gonna go with Atlanta Hawks. Something Atlanta. That red and yellow.
All right, perfect. I am going to see. The thing about some of these is you get some of them where it's like, oh my goodness, that's cool, and then you get ones where like when I mean cool, I mean like just complete '90s retro, where it's like, oh my gosh, I have a Charlotte Hornets old school jersey with the Hornet dribbling the basketball logo or something like that. One of those that the aura's a 10 out of 10. But
it's gonna be like Detloff Shrimp or something like that. That if it is, dibs.
I think, Corey said if it's a Charles Barkley jersey, he's claiming it.
Ooh, no, it's gonna be a Christian Laettner Atlanta Hawks jersey. That's
Jeff Teague Atlanta Hawks.
That's my prediction.
And on it is just an audio clip of him telling a wild story from his NBA playing.
Right. Yeah. If it's the same as baseball and football, it's all-star caliber player or higher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Christian Laettner's in the Hall of Fame from the Dream Team. So Hall of Famer Christian Laettner is going to be.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. And he was an all-star with Atlanta. Yeah. I'm going to go Christian
athlete Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner Hawks would just
beloved by his peers and the media and the fans alike.
Everybody loves Christian Laettner. There's a documentary about it.
Yeah, exactly. It literally is I love Christian Laettner. That's literally the name. Don't look it up.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's get ready to open up this bad boy here. Here we go. Taking a look, getting the tape off this thing. let's on camera look at me struggle to open a box. Taking the tape off. There we go. Rip it off for a dramatic effect.
There it is.
As we start to take a look here at our jersey unboxing. Again, want to thank Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade for giving us this as I continue to struggle with tape. But as we get ready to roll here with this jersey unboxing, there we go. There we go.
Oh, he's in. Just don't be the Nuggets. I don't know what we would do with the Nuggets jersey around here. Don't be Denver. Yeah. Well, we could do something with that.
We could do something with that, but
we could get some Radiothon cash for that probably somewhere.
In my sports fandom head, it's a little bit like, oh no, but in like my NBA fan head, it'd be like, okay, I can live with that.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Twins shelf. Carmelo Anthony on the Twins shelf.
All right, here we go. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena gives us this jersey to unbox. Zeke, maybe. I got red.
Ooh, okay.
I have red.
It could be a red. It could be the Hawks. It could be the Bulls. It could be throwback Nets.
There's a lot of different areas we could go here.
Who else wears red? Portland has a red.
I got red. I'm describing to you. I got red with a white and yellow collar.
Ooh, it's going to be Atlanta.
As we
Philadelphia has a red jersey.
Maybe Houston.
Oh, Houston. I forgot about Houston. Yeah.
Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena gives us this jersey. And we got Houston.
Ooh.
We got an H-Town jersey. And we got Hayes. Rolling up. Zeke, I'm going to give you time. I'm going to let you struggle. Who is this guy? Tell me. I want to know. Take your guesses. I'm going to give you two. What do we got here? What do you got?
I don't know Houston that well.
I know
Sam Cassell played in Houston.
I'll tell you, it's Elvin Hayes. We have an Elvin Hayes jersey right here. Houston Rockets. This is like the old school mesh. And I want to point out too, it is autographed on this Elvin Hayes jersey. So if you're maybe a youngin' and you don't quite know who Elvin Hayes is, this is awesome, by the way. I love these. This is so sweet. Corey usually gets to do the unboxing. I don't get to do it. This is awesome. For those kids who don't know who Elvin Hayes is, he was known as the Big E, the Bionic Man, the Big Enigma, which that's great. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Big E.
Over the course of his career, he played in 1,300 games. He averaged 21 a game. 12 and a half rebounds, a couple assists. He shot 45% from the field. Obviously, he was a power forward and center back in the day. He played for the Rockets in his career, kind of going all. I mean, this dude was an Iron Man. He started out in 1968 with the San Diego Rockets. And then he also was with them in Houston in 1971, and then went to Baltimore for a year in the NBA, then played as well for the Bullets, I should say. It says Capital City, but it's the Washington Bullets, as they were, as he was in there from 1973 all the way to 1981, and then finished his career with Houston from 1981 to 1984. Hence, this is where his jersey came from. He played in all 82 games in 8 times in his career. He played all 82 games in a season. Look at that dude. Big Iron Man. It's take that, Joel Embiid. I can't believe this. This jersey's awesome.
I forgot he played. I know Elvin Hayes with the Washington Bullets is all my basketball cards from Elvin Hayes back in the day. I didn't realize that he had such a big imprint on Houston basketball. This is awesome.
It's huge. I also kind of forget San Diego had a team, and I forget how many times Washington needed to rebrand. They were the Baltimore Bullets. They were the Capital City Bullets. And then because they moved from Baltimore to Washington, and then they go from the Bullets to the Wizards, which I get that there were multiple reasons why they had to change it, but
Solid
They
move.
were named after the bullet train, like off the
Yep.
train system. And Bullets is just they had a cool logo. And then they went to the Wizards, which I get alliteration. Nobody wants to play for the Wizards. It's a dumb team name.
Yep.
So
doesn't mean it's a good name though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So all right. Zeke, this is our Hayes jersey. We want to thank Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade again for giving us this this Elvin Haynes jersey. And from now on, I will be only calling him the Big Enigma, because what a nickname. It's great. There's nothing you can do about it. All right. That's going to wrap things up for the show today. We do have a special interview that's coming up to end the show. So don't go anywhere. We are going to be playing that for you right here. We had an opportunity to track down a big fan of the Morning Sports Desk podcast and a fellow podcaster in his own right in Brigg Johnson, a 9-year-old at Parkers Prairie Elementary. He has his own Panther podcast talking about Parkers Prairie stuff, and we thought it'd be a cool idea to collab. So we're going to hear a little bit of what that interview sounds like. All right, a special interview here on the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I'm CJ Baumgartner, talking with Parkers Prairie Elementary student Brigg Johnson, who's joining us here on the Morning Sports Desk. And not only that, Briggs, you are the host of your very own podcast as well. Tell us what that is.
It's called the Panther 547 Nation, also known as the Panther Podcast. We have 3 videos so far. Yeah. And, just tell us what gave you the idea, what made you want to start doing a little podcast on Parkers Prairie stuff. What made you want to talk about it? Well, it was actually my mom. She saw a TikTok and she was like, you know what? I think Briggs is the perfect person to do this.
Yeah. And, how cool is it just to get to do that? What have you kind of noticed by doing it? What typically do you talk about when you do your videos?
Well, I talk about, I interviewed my friend once talking about, how has the season been going and stuff like that. Yeah. And, it's a lot of stuff going on, and obviously in the middle right now, a big win for Parkers Prairie football. And I hear you even got the head coach on. How were you able to pull that off? Well, I was like, hey, Dad, do you want to do a podcast with me? And he was like, well, I got a lot of stuff to do. Maybe if we make it quick, yes. And you were able to squeeze that in. And, what were some of the questions you asked him? If people want to go check that out, what were some of the things you what were some of the things that you asked him? I was like, who stepped up to the team this year? All right, perfect. Yeah, things like that. Want to know who stepped up, wanted to know who's been a big player for the Parkers Prairie Panther team. And, they got a big victory on Tuesday night against Nevis. They're going to play Walker Hackensack Akeley on Saturday. And it's been a team that's went to the state tournament the last couple of years. And you got the opportunity, obviously, to kind of be right front and center. How cool was it to get to be around this team the last couple of years and to get to be close to a football team that's went to state? Good. Yeah. What's some of your best memories from going down there and doing that? Do you have any that stick out to you? Putting you on the spot here, I know. Making it to US Bank was good. Did you get to be on the field for that? Because if so, I'm jealous. No. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll work to that. We'll work to that next year, or this fall here coming up. But what's some of the things you love about football? What are the things that you love to talk about? What makes the game so fun? The tackling, the tackling. Do you ever have any play calls for your dad? Do you ever have any suggestions for him, or do you ever tell him hey, you should try and throw a little more, run a little more? Have you ever tried that? I'm like, let's put in cowboy. Let's try to run cowboy. All right. Does he listen? What does he tell you when you ask him? He says, we'll try. All right. Good. You'll start working away at it. We'll see if he can run it coming up with the game on Saturday, 2:00 against Walker Hackensack Akeley
in Parkers Prairie with a chance to go to the Fargo Dome. Brigg Johnson joining us here on the morning sports desk. Briggs, just talk about, if people want to go check out your podcast, once again, just give us that name and tell us where's a good place people can find it if they want to listen.
Panther 547 Nation on YouTube.
All right. Perfect. And that'll be out there. You can find it. I know we've seen all your episodes so far. We're following it. You got a subscriber in us here on our YouTube page as well. And we'll be checking that out and all the great work that you're doing. And any episodes coming up, do you have anything planned or still just kind of waiting to see if you can make it work between school and football and all that stuff?
We might try to interview some seniors on Tuesday or Saturday.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Brigg Johnson here joining us on the morning sports desk. Briggs, want to appreciate you for taking the time to come on and chat with us today. Any other questions you want? What else do you want to say that I didn't ask? What do you want us to know about?
Go Panthers.
Perfect. All right. Want to appreciate Brigg Johnson hopping on the program to talk about the Panthers 547 Nation podcast. Go check that out on YouTube as well. And just appreciate him coming on the show. That'll do it for today's episode of the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. See you next time.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.